I want to encourage myself because I was able to get done a lot of work on saving and loading recently. I've been kind of putting off, especially the loading aspect, because the complicated thing about the loading is that it's easy, or not easy, but it's easy to tie in hooks to save the conversation data, like the tone or something, as you're adding tones. But it's a lot harder to, in one instant, reestablish all those things, because there's a lot of really small visuals and colors that get set. And that was making me anxious for a while. So I'm glad that I dove into that and got that started. Didn't get a chance to test all of it, but I think it's getting pretty close so that you can load your files. I'm super interested in user accounts, but there's no reason to set that up for people that I'm going to be paying to use it. That's the way to handle bulk numbers of users that I'm not paying, is to give them accounts, because it's going to be easier. Oh. It also gives me hooks for them to get emails from me, which is nice. Let's see, what else? Well, I want to work on the females. I want to give them more clothing options and definitely way more animations and way more programming about how their body animations and stuff work, as well as clothing animation. That's super important. Let's see. Maybe just a general motivational, I guess. It is hard when you're working a job at the same time, because to a certain degree you don't have anything to prove to yourself, or you kind of met the minimum requirements to feel pretty good about your day. Like, okay, I went to work, did not skip. And that's that. It does make me feel pretty good to do that, because I get paid fairly well. But at the same time, I do want a lot more. I want to finish Forbidden Technique, and in the short term, I want to finish Electra. I've been working on that forever, and it's been, from any other perspective that doesn't have Electra in mind, it's been pausing the entire development of the rest of the game. But there's so many things that are so many building blocks, so many pieces that need to be made that are built upon the foundation of Electra. I mean, even the combat, I want to integrate the conversation system. Maybe a way to do that with the kind of the witty repartee of trying to, influence the emotional state of your enemy one way or another, would be to just have the player selecting from tones, like angry or meek or confident, selecting from those emotional options rather than reading the text, because in the middle of a battle you can't really, unless you slow down time, which kind of takes out some of the fast pacing of it, which I do want to keep in. You can't expect the player to be able to focus on firing spells, blocking spells, and then also selecting specifically worded text options. I think that it should be assumed that whatever you're going to say the meaning of it isn't that important. You're basically either trying to insult them or compliment them for different effects. Ugh. But anyways, an idea that just occurred to me is like, well, what if you expose only the emotional properties of what you say, and then when you throw it, then the phrase comes up as you're fighting? It might be kind of a fun, fast-paced way to go. It's kind of your gut reaction is the feeling, and the feeling will both have a color and the one word. I guess passive-aggressive might be like a two-word, but really one or two-word emotion you can read. Maybe that's a slight audible in the way that the conversation system works, is you can select those tones, and then there'll be some sort of subtitle or voice line of you saying those things. That could be a way to keep it fast-paced, because then you can read over, like, even if there's like 8 different tones, you can see those and select from them very quickly. Maybe without throwing as well. Maybe it would be a shouting system or something. Or maybe bringing it to your head. I don't really like that. How would it work? Well, I don't know. I don't think throwing it is realistic, because it could be really far away, and that's just very distracting. You should be able to do it pretty much with your head. Oops. By looking at the option, or I guess maybe if there was some button that was easy to press, so that you could make sure that you want to say anything, unless you remove the option to not say anything. I don't know if I necessarily like the insult sword fighting where there's like a correct response. I think that's kind of, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's kind of clever. It's fun to play, but it's not exactly intensely strategic. You either know what the answer is or you don't. I like the tactical strategy of it modifies the way the other person behaves towards you. or like their stats and stuff, like increased damage, lower accuracy, increased defensiveness, lower aggression. Maybe it's more like a, like a fighting stance, like with Udyr spells, you have like your type of emotional demeanor. You can choose how you want to act, and then when events happen, you'll respond along those lines. You could select passive aggressive, and then when they miss, we're like a passive aggressive mocking to someone who misses. Passive aggressive is not directly. How do you not directly say something? Like, well, that was a good try or something, I guess, or that was. Were you trying to hit me or something? I don't know. Stuff like that, maybe.